Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. Happy Friday, Beer Geeks. I hope you've had an amazing week. I've spent most of it accepting friends' requests on Untappd.
Wow. And we all know why that is, don't we, Johnny? But before we get to the elephant in the room, I don't even know if it is an elephant in the room, but I think it's a great video, man. Great video. Should we talk about...
It is the very room we're in.
It is the very room we're
Untappd. We're all living in our own versions of Untappd.
That's it. Like some
that
sort
Black
of...
Mirror episode where everybody rates everybody.
Oh, God, yeah. Bloody hell. What have we been up to this week in beer, Johnny?
Well, we've been up to something in soda.
We have, so not quite
up
beer.
To our necks in soda.
But I've been up to my sweaty welly boots in soda. Yes.
Did you enjoy the Instagram post that I put of you not in sweaty wellies but in sandals and funky shorts?
I thought I looked very fat, which has made me reassess. I've put on weight over COVID, but I'm like, fucking hell, I look terrible in that photo. So I'm hoping it was something your camera has done with the lens to make me look shorter and squatter. Because I didn't like what I saw, Johnny.
You looked wonderful in person.
Oh, thanks.
I promise.
Thank you. I just thought it was very unflattering. But yeah, I saw I was getting some hate from people mocking my sandals. And also, I think someone said they looked like I was wearing their nan's sandals or something, which is quite cutting. But again, I've got to say, I don't know who that was. I would give you a name shout out, but I've forgotten because you're not that important to me. But
it's strangely prescient because in the video that we were shooting while we were at Square Roots, or we haven't even said that, which is our favourite soda maker, Soda Jerks. Because somebody who makes soda is called a jerk. There's an interesting. I was about to say nutmeg. Nugget. So I've got spice on the brain. Nugget of info.
I did sniff some nutmeg yesterday, Johnny, out of interest.
Did you sniff nutmeg? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was nutmeg. Yeah, I think it was nutmeg in amongst the...
It wasn't cinnamon?
I sniffed cinnamon as well, which smells delicious, and it was like the most amazing cinnamon roll ever. It was wonderful. Yum.
Anyway, we're struggling to stay on track here. You mentioned being a nan in the video because you also have to wear a blue hair now.
Oh yeah, I
is
do.
Where I was trying to get to.
I totally forgot that. Yeah, I do.
So you had a full nan outfit on.
I did. I was bad nana sort of vibes, walking around a soda jerk factory, trying not to be a jerk. But I was a bit of a jerk because I wore those. Tiva hipster sandals. Other sandal makers are available, but they're pretty cool. They're like kind of Aztec wild, proper like kind of hippie California tech billionaire sort of shoe steez. You might get some.
That's the vibe you were going for.
No, not really.
You went for tech billionaire and ended up with pension and a nanny.
Well, apparently that's because people just don't know. It's just called fashion joining. They should just look it up.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
I was matching my my crazy Aztec shorts that I was wearing as well. So Yes.
Which were getting the love,
they were
fair.
getting the love.
The sandals less so, but the shorts were much adored.
A lot of people don't like men in sandals, do they? I mean, I can't actually walk in flip-flops. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel before. But I'm a bit like...
I think you've mentioned it many times on the podcast.
I'm like Derek Zoolander, where he can't walk left. I can't... literally can't walk in sandals. Like, they just fall off of my feet.
You mean flip-flops?
Flip-flops, yeah. So when I...
Because you were walking in sandals pretty well until you had to put the wellies on.
I tell you what, those Tevas, mate, I want to get sponsored by Teva. They're fucking comfy. They're like shoes that are
but I don't want to feel the online hate. I don't want the 1 out of 5 reviews of your sandals on every post.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we should just keep the foot stuff for our special only fanboys page.
Okay, this is a dark place we're headed to. I'm going to rein us back in and say that, yes, we were at Square Root this week filming the first half of next week's episode. So it's a bit of a tight turnaround, this one, because we are making a shandy.
Yes.
And when I say making a shandy, I don't just mean mixing soda with beer. We are literally brewing the beer, and we were there learning how the soda's made as well.
Yeah, man. These guys are... Robin and Ed are the best in the business at what they do. I don't think there's anyone else out there that's keeping it that fresh, that amazing. Like, the produce that's going into it is next level, isn't it? Like, and you can taste it.
It's farm to table soda, isn't it? Like, they work directly with the farmer on the fruits, and they get the fruits in, press it, and within 24 hours or so, fresh lemonade's coming off the line. It's pretty unbelievable.
It's a wondrous thing to see. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing like a chef's kiss emoji with my hand because
of course,
it's delicious.
Everyone picture it. He's in his sandals.
That's it.
His Aztec shorts.
I'm in my Aztec shorts, actually. Yeah, not in the sandals, but there you go. Mate, I absolutely loved it. Like, everyone I think knows by now, I've got an incredibly sweet tooth. So, candy is candy, shandy, and sodas are my jam. I absolutely love them, and we've got.
I love that even you saying it's your jam.
Yeah,
that's a sweet thing as well.
It's a sweet thing as well, isn't it? Yeah, jam is my jam. Brand.
Jam is your jam.
Yeah.
So we're actually making a cola shandy. That's the little twist. So we've been brewing well, no, I won't spoil it. We've been brewing a beer.
Rein it back in, mate.
We've been brewing a beer especially to go with their cola, which is very exciting.
I think what we could potentially say is if you were at Bigfoot Fest, you might have had a little sneaky peek into what we've got cooking.
It's possible.
It is possible.
So it's going to be a really exciting video, a real adventure, because there's so many different locations, so many different brewing things going on. It's the first time I've brewed this style of beer, which was a bit much, and so it's got some real. What do they call it in TV land? Is it Jeopardy?
It's got Jeopardy. I think it's called Don't Work with Children, Animals, or I was gonna let the cat out of the bag then, but I won't. But a certain type of beer that's lively.
Yep. I think we've teased this long and hard enough. So yeah, watch out for that. That's what we've been up to this week. And next week we have lots more filming to do. We're going to finish off that homebrew series, but also we're filming the penultimate shoot of our big project that we have been teasing even longer than this shandy video, all about real ale in the UK. So that's nearly finished, and that'll be coming out at the end of September, 2 days after my book comes out. So it's a busy old week.
It is a busy old week. We're so teasy right now, aren't we, Johnny? I just feel like we're teasing every episode. We're just
very
teasing.
only fans, yeah.
Oh.
It's actually today. I just remembered I'm picking up my book.
You are. I hope you're getting more than one of them as well. Are you only getting one?
Yeah. Oh, I've bought many books.
Oh, you've bought many books. Excellent.
So
cool.
I hope people are ready to buy them, because otherwise I'll be broke.
You're going to get to the number one spot on Amazon from the amount of books you've bought.
Well, Matt Curtis has it currently for food and drink.
Is he?
So
good on him.
if I knock him off the top spot, I want to knock him off the top spot. A bit of friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Although, of course, don't buy from Amazon. buy direct. So we've got, I haven't announced it yet, but I can announce it here roughly. There is going to be a 4-pack of beer inspired by the seasons, because the book is about the seasons, coming out via beer merchants along with the book. So if you're going to buy the book, I would wait. It will be released about 4 days after the book comes out. Wait until beer merchants do their announcement, because there's 4 incredibly exciting beers. There's a barley wine, there's a double West Coast IPA, there's a Czech Pilsner, and there's a green hopped golden ale from incredible breweries. I've tasted 2 of the beers now. I haven't tasted... I tasted the barley wine. Siren are making the barley wine, and it was like banoffee pie. It was unreal.
Wow.
Probably won't be quite as banoffee by that point, because it still had all the yeast up in its grill, but yeah, it's delicious. And the Czech Pilsner from Lost and Grounded is amazing. So just the dipper from Daya and the green hop beer from Elusive to go. Beautiful. So yeah, watch out for that when that book comes out, and I'll be putting links everywhere. You'll be sick of it. This week's video, Bradley.
Yeah, man. This one was a direct result of audience participation, in that we have our Patreon community. And within that Patreon community, we have a select crew of Discord heavy hitters and people that are well involved in our community. And we asked them what they would like to see as a video. Because, sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas, Johnny. And also, we've had so many things on. We kind of needed something that we could shoot quite quickly, I guess. And also, I wasn't able to meet you. So you needed something you could do on your lonesome.
On my lonesome, yeah, exactly. So huge thanks to those. We put a couple of ideas into the forum, and the Untappd one won the vote. And it was something that it turns out I needed to get off of my chest. It was one of those things where I think I was keeping it inside, and I don't think it was healthy.
No,
and it all came pouring out once I hit rolling.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking through. It wasn't a hit piece on Untappd, like I say at the start. I use Untappd, I enjoy Untappd, and I think it's got a really important role to play. And, with 9 million users, it's here to stay. Nobody's getting rid of Untappd anytime soon. So I thought it would be helpful to, A, put out some ideas about how it could be improved, either to them or for other people to think about, but B, put out some ideas of how we ourselves can improve it. So stuff that we can do either to understand it better and use it better, or indeed to help deal with some of the biases that are within the mass data of Untappd. And it's absolutely flown, and everybody seems to agree with me, and that's a very unfamiliar feeling on YouTube, where everyone's like, yeah. So we really enjoyed the comments on that. If you haven't seen the video, obviously link in the show notes. But we made lots of suggestions about what needs to be improved, and I think some of the comments that we've picked out, we'll discuss those. So what did you find, Brad?
Yeah, man, I just want to say, I think it was... I feel it was genuinely an amazingly well considered video, and your argument that you put forward, not argument, but the points you made, was kind of a masterclass in just thinking around the problem. And I just want to say, man, it was a really, really great video, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not an Untappd user myself, but it made me think again, maybe I should use an Untappd. And obviously, at certain points, we've talked about the idea of me filming myself using Untappd for a week, vlog style, and see if it could benefit my beery life. But yeah, man, awesome video.
Well, I think there was somebody in the comments that said that we should do a video in which we look at all the different beer apps, and maybe that should be a lowbrow episode.
Could be.
You look through them all and pick your favourite.
Yeah, I like it. Probably the one with the biggest pictures for me. I'm a guy
Instagram.
that likes... Instagram. Yeah, I'm already there. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, comments, Johnny. Austin Bach said, "You nailed it. Rate by style. I've said this for years, and cans and bottles need to have their fresh date so we know what we're getting." I just think that's the way to do it, right? Rate by style. Don't be biased.
Yeah. And have a rate by style score as well, so that the beers are being compared against other beers that are similar. I think that's the greatest flaw on Untappd. And it would be such an easy fix, and it's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers that they haven't introduced that. I know they might think that it sort of waters down the main rating or it's confusing because, when I first started using Rate Beer, which has that feature, I was slightly confused as to why there were 2 scores. But that's because Rate Beer didn't do a very good job of explaining it.
Yeah.
Whereas if Rate Beer got it right, it would be so helpful because then if you're looking for a lager, you know how it's going to score against other lagers, not how it's going to score against the pastry stout. Putting the best before dates on there, that would be helpful for 2 reasons. One, it would, it alerts people to, well, he's drinking that, he's saying it's shit, but it's not very fresh. If he's drinking an IPA and it's a year old and he's saying is saying it's rubbish, then that will make sense. And you go, okay, well, I'm not going to dismiss it because it wasn't a fresh can. And it also helped the brewery immeasurably because the breweries will be able, if they see a bad review, they see oh, it's gone sour or, oh, it's oxidized. They know the batch date then. And they can actually use that to go back and check what happened on that date. Whereas otherwise, they just hear about an oxidized can and they have no idea how to fix that. They don't know which batch, particularly if it's a core beer that's being brewed, once, twice a week. I think it'd be brilliant to have the freshness rating. Yeah,
that's a really good point, that you sort of added level of information there, like metadata that would allow a brewery to check a batch and to go, oh fuck, we've got a problem there. So that's a super cool idea. Do you think these are some terrible ideas? But do you think, in regards to rating bias, like for lager, should the rating system be 4 stars out of 4 rather than 5 out of 5, and then you can only vote up to 4 because all these people are voting it down because they don't like lager. So should lager be 4 stars out of 4 rather than? Do you know what I'm getting at? Or could it be like a golfing handicap situation where you go, well, we're gonna give you a handicap lager because everybody's like down on you, so we're gonna give you half a point just for free, that we're going to add on to whatever score you get, just to boost you up to where you should be, buddy.
I'm not sure about any of this. The whole only rating to 4 sounds like the inverse of Spinal Taps, but it goes to 11.
That was exactly what I was thinking. I was setting you up for that. So I think obviously it would be a huge dumbing down of. It wouldn't make any sense, but I quite like the illogical nature of that. Yeah,
which leads us to why we're not going to be making our own app, as somebody suggested.
Well, yeah, Joe Hickey said, sounds like you should create a new platform, which I've said for a while. I think we could do something pretty awesome, but obviously there's all these awesome things out there already, and we're not we're not Neo from the Matrix. Basically, we don't know what we're doing on a computer, so we can't code for toffee. If any of you lovely people out there are computer whiz kids and want to get together and work on either some sort of geolocation-y thing about beer or a platform where we're rating beers, let's get talking, let's get it going. But we're not really sure how to do it.
Yeah, drop us an email. Why not? Let's see where the 4 out of 4 version of Untappd goes. Bradley, anything else?
Yeah, so we had a comment from Lords Brewing Co., one of our Patreons, that said, from all the breweries in the world, thank you, Johnny. And I think, that is a very universal comment that a lot of breweries out there will be thinking after they watch your video. Because, you've taken some of the hysteria and kind of herd mentality out of it, hopefully. Yeah,
I think... I mean, I've had lots of messages from brewers who really enjoyed it, because I think... from a brewer's perspective, it is a very frustrating thing. It's a very powerful and very important thing, and something that a lot of them enjoy using, but it has sort of a dark side to it and can be pretty damaging if you put a release out there that, fairly unfairly gets slated. It's a nerve-wracking thing to see happen. So I think brewers would appreciate a little bit more interaction with Untappd about how they can make it work in the best way for the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Lords Brew liked my points. I've got a comment from somebody who didn't like my points. So this is a comment from S. Lega, or Slega, not quite sure. And he says, or she says, I don't know why people use Untappd like this. Drink the beer, rate it how you like it now. Don't rate it against that beer over there, or how the style fits, or how other people like it, or how it should have been, or how it used to be. Just how you like it in this particular moment. Now,
right, yeah,
I agree with all of that, but the issue I take with it is that this person is basically assuming that they are rating in a vacuum. So they're removing all context from that beer. So he's saying they're basically saying, if the lines were dirty in the pub, then sorry, sucks to be the brewer. If the beer wasn't properly stored, sucks to be the brewer. If I don't like pilsners and I drank a pilsner, sucks to be the brewer. If I don't know, my mate gave me it, but it'd been out for a while and it was flat, sucks to be the brewer. Like, if you're going to review something that's going to go into data and be out in the world, you have to moderate it. Like you'd moderate your speech and your actions just being around humans. You don't do exactly what you want, right? You can think exactly what you want, but you can't do that. So that's why we also had a lot of comments from people saying, like, I'd really like, if to be able to choose if my rating is public or private, because then you can make a note just for yourself. And I think that would be another really handy feature of Untappd. It's like, if a beer was shocking, but you don't want to put it out there, but you want to have a note of it, like maybe you were in a pub and the lines were all crap, and you want to make a note for yourself, something like that. That would be a really handy feature. But so while I agree that, you should be reviewing in the moment how the beer actually is, we got into a little conversation, and in it he said the beer from the brewer to your glass is a complete package and should be rated that way, and that's just nonsense. Beer has a context, the temperature of the glass, the temperature of the room, the music that's playing, what you ate beforehand, who served it, how fresh the beer is, the seasonality of that beer, what's going on with the malts and the hops at that time of year, and the storage of that in the brewery. Not all of that can just be boiled down to a five-star rating in which you dismiss everything outside of the glass. The glass is the center of it, but it's not the only thing.
It's pretty harsh on the brewer. Like, they don't have control over it when it leaves their premises. I think that's a pretty crazy sort of all or nothing, no grey area, sort of black and white kind of view of how you should rate stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be powerful, and I'm sure it works for that person if it was just their notebook and they're making those notes. That all makes sense. That's their experience of it. But if you're feeding into a system and other people are seeing your reviews, then you've got to take that into account. Yeah, well, you don't have to. You can be entirely selfish, but you've got to recognise that what you're doing has an impact on other people, and other people have an impact on you.
That's it, man. We're all in this together. Don't be a little bastard.
There you go. Yeah, T-shirt slogan right there as well.
Life's more nuanced than that. Yeah, certainly beer is as well. So we should think and consider before we write stuff on the internet that's there forever, and can kind of adversely affect businesses that it's unfair to. But yeah,
or misleads other drinkers. It shouldn't just be about protecting breweries. It's also, if you say this beer sucks because it was a bit warm when it was served, and you give it 2 stars, somebody who respects your opinion is going to look at that 2-star rating and be like, "Oh, I shouldn't drink that."
Yeah. They might not read. They might not actually read what you've said, which is totally ludicrous.
Or like we say in the video, lots of people just give the 2-star rating and don't say why.
Yeah, which is not helpful at all.
Yeah, really, it should be. You have to make a comment.
Do you think the majority of people, when they're rating, they're looking at other people's ratings already for that beer? They've got to be, right? And then they're kind of going, I think you say, you don't want to be an outlier. When that sort of psychology, it's got to be. It's like a crazy feedback loop that it's always a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you see a beer has 4.5 and you want to give it 2.5, you're going to check yourself. You're going to be like, wait. Am I wrong, or are the kids wrong?
That's it. You're putting yourself and your avatar, your persona online, out there saying, "I disagree with the herd," which is it's a scary place to be. Is not in the same opinion as everybody else. So there's that as well, which just homogenizes opinions, I would say. Overall, I would say people's opinions are probably muted down by other people's opinions and kind of wanting to be in line with them.
There was an interesting comment. I don't know who said it. He said, would it be helpful if you weren't able to see the score of a beer until you'd rated it? But that would make more sense in terms of getting accurate ratings. But the issue is then you couldn't use Untappd for research. You can look to see if you might like a beer.
Yeah.
Because you have to have rated it beforehand. So it sort of would be better for ratings, but actually worse for using those ratings. So I get why, that's just an issue with the app as a whole. And I think, we just have to sort of accept that. But the algorithm and the way that we act can adapt for that. But yeah, it's definitely, it's another form of bias, isn't it? And I've caught myself doing it, trying beers that have over 4 and being like, it's not very good. And you have to sort of check yourself and go, just don't look at what other people have rated it, because then the ratings become, like you say, like self-fulfilling.
Yeah, man, that's it.
So yeah, it's fraught with complexity, which is why you can't do what Slegar was trying to tell us to do. I'm going to stop trying to say their name because I don't know what it is.
Another, I can't find the bloody question now. Sorry, the point someone had made, but they basically said, this Untappd great. They use it when they go somewhere like on holiday to a new place, a new town, a new city, and it's taken them to some great sort of beery experiences. So we can't be too harsh. Like if someone's the sort of opinion is homogenized a bit and kind of rounded off by the masses, but that should still hint towards a place or a beer that's should still be amazing, even if the actual accuracy of the rating is slightly higher if it's a hypey place or slightly lower if it's somewhere that's less well known. In general, you're going to get a good steer where you're going to get a good beer experience.
Yeah, at no point would I want to imply that like Untappd is broken or anything like that. Like, it definitely works. And when we plan our city visits and stuff, I'm looking at Untappd constantly to look at, if I haven't tasted beers from a certain brewery, Untappd is where I go. I'll also probably go to Rate Beer, and I'll also look at, all the classic really good websites, or I'll ask beer writers in those regions where I should head. But Untappd is the first place you go. And it's taken us to some incredible places. Particularly, ones that were slightly off of the beaten track, ones that don't have these big reputations, but I've looked it up and I've been like, that's a pretty good score. Somebody else has now recommended that place, and even though I've never really heard of it, we've kind of gone, which was kind of the case with Foam when we went to Burlington for our documentary. We'd heard some rumblings, but certainly not the kind of hype that's around Hill Farmstead, which we decided not to go to for the documentary. And then down in Florida as well, we were working with a tourist board and they suggested a bunch of places. And what did I do? I went onto Untappd and immediately discounted 4 or 5 of them because the reviews were horrific. You go on the website and you don't see any of the things that you want to see, like talk about freshness, good ingredients, stuff like that. And we discounted them. And so it's such a valuable tool, and it could just be that little bit better, particularly for people just getting into the scene, I think.
That's it.
And those are, to be honest, those are the important people. That's who we direct a lot of our content at, and it's what Untappd should be for. It's a discovery platform, and the point where you're doing the most discovery is right at the beginning, and you need that helping hand, which is the other thing that I didn't put in the video, but I think that Untappd could do a much better job with education. Lots of info around what the styles are and what they should be like, or where they come from, or how to taste beer properly, or how to use the rating system, stuff like that, which they probably do have that stuff if you really go hunting. But all of this stuff should be hyperlinked, so you can just, if you see that a beer you just drank is called a New England IPA and you don't know what a New England IPA is, it should be super easy, and there should be all the resources to work it out, and then you can make that rating more effective.
Yeah, man, I think, all of these added integrations, like you're saying, that would be phenomenal on any sort of beer discovery app, where you've got what the style should be like, what the kind of class qualities would be, and then you can compare it to what you've got in the glass, and understand what it is you're tasting and why it's good and why it's not good, why it's all of these things are they're missing potentially from any of these apps, and it's just such a powerful tool that should kind of be alongside the rating system. I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe if we don't make our own platform, we should approach Untappd and go, "Hey, do you need some content there, guys? Hey,
that's it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all we've got time for in this Friday, 5 p.m. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for all of your comments on this week's video. It's been absolutely amazing to have my phone just light up constantly with new Untappd users that want to connect, with all the comments on the YouTube and our Instagram and our Facebook all over the place. It's been a really wonderful week to get stuck into the discourse of beer rating. And I just hope that we get the same interaction for our bonkers Shandy episode next week, which I'm very excited to put out into the world.
Oh, hell yeah. I will be at Riverside Beer Festival this weekend at some point. So if any of you guys and girls out there spot me, come say hello. I'm not scary. And I probably won't be wearing my Nana sandals either. So,
you nicked my gag. I was waiting.
Yeah. Cut you off.
So go say hi to Brad if you see him at Riverside. Yeah. Sadly, I can't make it, so it's just love and beer from me until Wednesday. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.